Good evening and welcome to the April 2022 regular council meeting for the Village of Blacks Harbour. I will call the meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. Record of attendance, all council is here tonight. And before we go any further, I want to thank CHCO for being here tonight, making sure that this is on live tonight and making sure that it's going to be shown, I guess. If anybody wants to see it in the next few days, we'll be able to see it. We have Dale Wells from CHCO. We have Vicky Hogarth way back in the corner. Vicky's way. Can the camera turn it around and get Vicky in the corner? We actually got a star here. And we have Florence Mitchell. She's in charge of the camera tonight. She's the producer and technician for CHCO. So welcome to Blacks Harbour. It's nice to have all three of you here tonight. Okay, with business number 4, that brings us 4, business arising. Any business arising tonight? 5 is approval of the agenda. I'll look for a motion for the floor. Councilor Thompson, was that a motion?
Yeah, be it resolved, the agenda for April 20th, 2022, regular meeting of council be accepted as presented.
Seconded by Councilor Libby. Any question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. 6 is disclosure of conflict of interest on the agenda items tonight. Is
12.1.
12.1 for the deputy mayor. Okay, that moves us on to 7, approval of the council minutes, the regular council meeting for March 16th, 2022. I'll look for a motion for the floor for approval of those minutes. Councilor Libby?
Be it resolved that the minutes from the regular meeting of council, March 16th, 2022, as pre-circulated, be approved and filed.
Thank you, Councilor Libby. That'll be seconded by
Second that.
Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on those minutes? All those in favor of the minutes signify by saying aye.
All right.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 8 is staff reports, and tonight we have we don't have the fire chief here tonight, but we do have a fire report, do we? We're up on the screen up there. Maybe Councilor Ritchie, maybe I think your safety, you could give that report tonight.
Yep. So it says there that we had a total of 10 calls, I guess I'll say, incidences in the 2022 report for the month of March. There's a breakdown there. 2 for fire, 1 for rescue, 1 for public hazard, 2 for public services, and 4 for alarm, no fire. So be it resolved that the fire department report for the month of March 2022 be approved and filed. I guess I didn't let you call the motion for that, sorry.
Okay, so you're making that motion?
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
I'll second that.
Okay, question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
All
Aye.
right.
It's passed unanimously. 8.2, building inspector report. Councilor Thompson, do you usually do that? Or?
Yeah, I can do that. All right, so it looks like, can you just scroll down to the next page?
Spin that around too.
So, okay, yeah, so it essentially estimated monthly value of building permits issued for March would have been about $2,400. So looks like just one report would have, or one permit would have been issued for some exterior renovations. There were 7 other occurrence reports that were issued, I guess, from our building inspector for the month of March.
Okay, that was the report. I look for a motion.
So I'll move that. So be it resolved, the building inspector's report for the month of March 2022 be approved and filed.
Seconded by Councilor Ritchie. Question or comment on that motion?
Where were we last year on amounts this time of year?
For the building,
Yeah. Used to be kind of comparison where we were from.
he doesn't give us that.
No,
We
there's
can
not.
pull it up and get that information for you.
Okay, can we see that? We could have that for the next council
Yeah.
meeting?
Okay, any other questions or comments on that report? Or on the motion, I should say? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. Public Works report. Councilor Thompson?
I can do that as well. So let's have a look here. Hard to read from this distance, but yeah, so there's a number of checks, I guess routine checks that were done throughout the month of March, routine stuff. So chlorine flow meter checks, filters on the lagoon, filters checked. There were also lagoon checks that were done daily. Lift stations checked 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Water tests done every second Tuesday, and sewer tests were completed on a month, I guess for the month of March as well, just once a month. So more routine stuff here. Check collective trash bins around the village as required. Garbage collection occurred on Thursdays, and recycling pickup as per the calendar on Wednesday. A couple notes here for water and sewer. So there were a few repairs that were, I guess, done through the month of March. It looks like there was a service call with Woody's for an address on Devon's Harbour Road. Also, sewer backup. A1 was called in on Main Street, 873 Main Street. So there was also some repairs completed at the arena. They shut the ice. I guess the arena was closed on the 26th of March, so there were some activities there around removing the ice from the arena. Some minor repairs on the backhoe, as well as the van. There were some, I guess, a little bit of plowing and sanding. They've got two events there in March. Some repairs to some culverts at Glennie Court. Cleaning up some sod around Main Street after the winter plowing. Repairs to the hydraulic tipper on the garbage truck. And they changed a float switch at the lagoon. And it looks like there were some repairs on the blower as well. Under miscellaneous, they've got some yearly inventory checks being completed in March as well.
Great. Councilor Thompson, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, sure. I'll move that the Public Works report for the month of March 2022 be approved and filed.
Do you have a seconder for that? Councilor Libby. Okay, question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. CAO's report. That is Stacy Frost. That's her over here. She's going to give her report.
Okay, so we had some outcomes. We got
She loves the camera.
Yeah, right. We got the ice out at the arena. We've hired our new assistant treasurer. Her name's Bambi Scott Lovett. She's actually originally from here in the Harbour. She grew up here, moved away for some time, and has moved back to the area. She doesn't live in Blacks now, but she definitely knows the area. We've appointed Kara Hatt as our assistant clerk. These are both as of March 21st. And we're continuing collaboration with Glenn Hawkins from CDEC. That's Community Development of Eastern Charlotte. He's been working with us for some development projects that we have upcoming. Ongoing, we've got review of space at the arena for upcoming projects. There's changing rooms, lighting upgrades, etc. There's a bunch of stuff we'd like to get done there. We're working with our accountant right now for our audit prep. We're a little late with that just because of the staffing issues that we've had. There were some discussions with the transition coordinator about the naming of our new entity 53, boundary discussions. That transition coordinator has since stepped down. He's had some medical issues, so our entity is now without a transition coordinator. We're looking to get another one in place soon. That's with the province, that's not on us. We've had our engineers, CBCL, in assessing some of our needs and some of our wish lists that we have coming up. Ongoing, we're looking at our water project. Priorities for this quarter, we've got trying to get a development incentive bylaw in place. We've got QP negotiations, strategic planning. We're going to finalize our audit. We've got some summer students that we'd like to hire. We've received funding from SEED for a couple, and we're still waiting to hear on Canada Summer Jobs funding. But we've got the ads out for those. Those close. What's the date on that, Kara? Do you remember? March 10th-ish? So if there's any students out there who are looking for summer employment, definitely send in some resumes. We'd love to have them. And we're looking at gas tax funding, and we've got some asset management projects coming up with our sewer mapping, and that's ongoing. And that's about it.
Great, thank you very much, Stacy. What I do, I'll entertain a motion at this point to accept the report, and then we'll go into question or comment after that. So I'll look for a motion to accept it.
Be it resolved that the CAO's report for the month of March 2022 and to date for April 2022 be approved and filed.
Councillor Libby made the motion, seconded by
I'll second that.
Councillor Ritchie. Question or comment on her report? She's right here, she's gonna answer.
Well, good, well done, good summary for the month of March, lots going on. Yeah.
Excellent. If there's no questions or comments, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 9 is the accounts, budget figures. I'll look for a motion from the floor.
Be it resolved that council approve the budget figures for the period ending March 31st, 2022.
Councillor Libby, seconded by
Second that.
Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. Accounts payable 9-2. Look for a motion from the floor.
Be it resolved, the council approve the total of accounts payable, paid and or payable for the month of March 2022 in the amount of $99,318.47 and payables to date for the month of April 2022 in the amount of $137,297.45.
We have a motion on the floor by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. 10, there's nothing for 10 tonight, which is the reading of, for petitions and presentations. 11 is communications. 11.1, an email from the resident of Main Street Playground. I'll read it out. Hi, my name is Beverly Scott, and I am a resident of Blacks Harbour. I am writing to the mayor and council for concern not only for myself, but other parents as well. A lot of children use the playground out by the arena. As I am sure all of you are aware, the playground is not fenced in and is on a very busy stretch of road. If you have or have had small children, and at some ages, children can get away on you very quickly. If you are dealing with one child and have another youngster, they could easily get on the road with the snap of a finger. Not to mention, this is the only playground in Charlotte County not fenced. I please ask Mayor and Council to consider a fence. Thank you for your time. You would sure make a lot of parents in the village very happy. We also would like to say the new lighting for that property is greatly appreciated. Yes, thank you, Beverly Scott. So we have a letter from Beverly Scott. What would the council like to do with that?
I would say that we take that request and defer it to a recreation committee meeting for us to discuss.
Gotcha. Deputy Mayor has made the motion to send that to the Recreation Committee. Seconder would be,
I can, yeah, go ahead, actually.
I'll second it.
okay, Councillor Ritchie. Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Alright,
That's passed unanimously. D is Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Municipal Kilometrage Maintenance Responsibility. Maybe I'm going to go to the village manager. She can explain this a little bit better than what the letter says. Can you?
It's basically a letter that they send to us annually that outlines our responsibilities as a village, what length of road that we're responsible for maintaining and what they're responsible for maintaining. So basically we just have to review what they've sent us, and if we agree with it, we sign it and send it back.
Is there a Reader's Digest explanation of which roads?
So the main drag, like from coming into the harbor, Main Street, turning into Wallace Cove to the ferry,
Right, that's all.
is provincial.
Provincial, okay.
So that's not us. They maintain that. And then all the side streets are us,
And
mostly.
they also do Devon's Harbor, do they not? Going out?
Yeah.
Yeah, they also, the province does. Yeah. That's just to give a quick.
Yeah, that's basically what that's
Basically,
about.
nope, I just want to make sure of that.
so really no changes from any previous years?
Great. So, that's, okay.
Any comment on fixing the last I don't know, 700 meters of road coming into the village that's beat all to pieces right by farm field.
We did get a letter. I don't remember exactly what the dates were, but they're looking at that like 2025. I can't comment exactly, but yeah, it's being looked at.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll look for a motion from the floor to review and sign the maintenance responsibility agreement for 2022.
Be it resolved, council review and sign the municipal kilometerage maintenance responsibility agreement for 2022.
Seconded by Councillor Libby. Question or comment?
Can we go back to them and ask them before agreeing to this about finding out when that piece of road's gonna be done?
Yeah, we can call them. There's a number in the letter. We can call them to discuss.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the agreement though that's been in place for like probably doesn't change the current agreement, right? It would just be assigned capital dollars.
If this is a new agreement for 2022,
Yeah, it's about our. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask,
Yeah,
obviously,
we can have a discussion about
but it
it.
doesn't. The agreement that would still remain in their.
That would still
court.
remain what
Yeah.
they're responsible
Exactly.
for.
Yeah. So it doesn't change any of the.
just saying before we enter
Realities.
an agreement with them, maybe we should understand what their realistics are gonna be on fixing that last piece of road.
Great.
Then you're in specifically firm stretch.
That
where
last
you go
piece,
down the
yeah.
little hill. Yeah.
Okay, we haven't voted on this yet. Any other questions or comments on this motion? All good stuff? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously.
I'm a nay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor. Nay. Would you like to expand on that, or would you?
I would just like to know some more details on the agreement between us and them.
Yeah, nope, good. Okay, 11.2 is correspondence, and there's none tonight. 12, approval of committee meeting minutes and recommendations. 12.1. Maybe I'll go to Councillor Ritchie, maybe. Oh, I'm
conflict.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you reminded me. So our deputy mayor has declared conflict on this part of the meeting, so I'm just waiting for him to leave. And we'll move on. Councillor Ritchie, maybe?
Be it resolved that council ratify the hiring of Bambi Scott Lovett as Assistant Treasurer for the Village of Blacks Harbour effective March 21st, 2022, with a probationary period of 3 months.
Great. We have a motion on the floor by Councillor Ritchie, seconded by Councillor Libby. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. B, I'll go to Councillor Ritchie again, maybe?
Yep. Be it resolved that council ratify the decision to appoint Kara Hatt to the position of Assistant Clerk for the Village of Blacks Harbour effective March 21st, 2022.
Motion on the floor by Councillor Ritchie, seconded by Councillor Libby. Question or comment on the motion?
I would like to comment.
Sure.
Congratulations, Kara. We're happy to have you and see you grow in this position. So
If the camera liked to be over there, that's Kara
Kara's here.
over there in the corner. That's who we were talking about tonight. They love the camera. Okay, we got a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Next is 12.2, and I have to wait for the deputy mayor. I believe he's allowed to come back. (12.2) is recommendations from the Regional Service Commission to give, A is to give first reading to Rural Plan Bylaw Z.2 as per the pre-circulated planning report entitled Z2 Planning Report, which outlines the purposes for consolidating past changes to the Blacks Harbour Rural Plan into a new bylaw adopted under the current Community Planning Act. The first motion would be the council give the first reading to that tonight. For motion from the floor for that.
Does this have to do with the recent agreement that we've entered with the RSC for planning services?
Yeah, so what has happened is, might
Yeah.
have to ask Alex for some specifics, but our rural plan, which is our zoning bylaw, hasn't been brought up to date with the Community Planning Act,
Right.
and it needs to be brought up to date to those standards. So they're basically pulling in all of our zoning and just bringing it up to date and making sure that all of the amendments have been included. Do you have anything to add to that? Like, yeah,
Okay,
sorry,
before we go any further, we're talking about
Alex Henderson.
Alex Henderson, okay? Just want to make sure you're written here. Great, Alex, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the rural plan that is in your package is your same rural plan with all the past changes you've made since its adoption in 2011. The reason you're getting a new rural plan is because it needs to be readopted under the present Community Planning Act to make further changes to it. So this is more of a housekeeping thing, more rather than a big update or big policy change. Now, in the plan report that you got, there was a couple things that the planners noticed when we were going through your rural plan that we're suggesting to you as potentially helpful amendments. There was one related to the actual apartment zoning that you have. Right now, you can go between R1 and R2 zoning. We're suggesting you add an additional zone called R3. And this would just be for land that you're specifically rezoning for apartments. Because how it works right now is when you rezone land from R1 to R2, you need to take an additional step of then going again to the Planning Advisory Committee for terms and conditions after you've done all that work with council. So really when you're rezoning land specifically at this table, it should be done. And that's the idea of doing this zone specifically for apartments. Doesn't have any extra steps once you get there through council. So only lands which you've already gone through rezoning, or this one application here at the Connor Brothers building that you're considering, we're suggesting this R3 zoning for. In addition, there's a rezoning that took place in recent years related to industrial development. We noticed the entire PID was zoned for industrial. We're suggesting to you just to zone the area that the actual plant is going and retaining the residential zoning that was there previously for the majority of that parcel, because you really don't need to do the entirety of that PID. It's probably advisable considering how much residential is around that area anyway.
Yeah.
So if that person or that company wished to expand further, they could come back to council for permission to do so. So those are the two policy changes that we're recommending. They're minor in scope, but this is more perfunctory or housekeeping just to make sure your rural plan bylaw is up to snuff. So.
No, that's great. Thanks for that.
Any questions or comments for Alex?
Has this been reviewed by the municipal lawyer?
Not that I'm aware of, but what we provide is a expertise in drafting these bylaws. So if you want to have a municipal lawyer review it, you certainly can. But we're fully capable of writing these bylaws.
So is the Community Planning Act essentially, is it a provincial act?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So essentially we're just, we're adopting the Planning Act issued by, essentially it's an act by the province of New Brunswick.
Being brought up to date to
Y-
what the
yeah.
requirements
Good.
are.
You're adopting your existing readopting
Okay.
your existing bylaw under the present Community Planning
Okay.
Act, because the one that is enforced today is adopted under a Community
Previous.
Planning Act that's been repealed.
Right, okay.
So,
So it's important that we get it up to date for sure.
yeah.
I don't have any issues with the up-to-date, but adding amendments into it is what I would like for our lawyer to look at.
So it sounds like we're referring to an old act that's no longer even in place.
Right.
That's correct.
That's a problem.
The act, one
Yeah.
thing, but
So we
adding
need-
amendments to it.
So like this first motion, I guess, is just to update to
No,
the
this
current
is a-
version of the act,
This is a first reading of a bylaw change.
which is to update it to the current act, which
Do
is,
not say there's an amendment to it.
yeah.
We're gonna have to
amending-
repeal the old one.
Yeah. Just so that we're current with our legislation within the act.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the main things with this is readopting the bylaw and those policy changes I referred to. So Councillor Hatt was correct. There is a proposed new zone in this
Right.
to not only deal with the application that's in a subsequent bylaw you're gonna look at tonight,
Yeah.
but also ones that you just recently dealt with. So, you have an opportunity to look at it tonight. You could do the first reading tonight if you want, or you don't have to. Additionally, you could strike out any changes that have been proposed here. So it is council's bylaw, and how you address it is really up to council, but the rationale for the changes that we've proposed to you are in the plan report, and happy to go through them in more detail as well right now if you wish.
Yeah, no, I think you've done a good, personally, I think, you know, from my perspective, you've done a good job explaining those changes. And I mean, we've hired, you know, obviously the RSC for our planning services, and I trust that you guys obviously, you know, you do this professionally for a living, and I think there probably could be an opportunity for additional questions in subsequent readings, if I had any, but no, I think, thanks for that. I don't know if anyone else has any questions, but.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, we have a motion on the floor. I think Councilor Thompson, you made the motion.
I haven't made it yet.
Okay, you haven't made it.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you had.
So I can make that now, I guess.
Okay.
So be it resolved, council give the first reading by title to bylaw number Z.2, a bylaw to adopt the Village of Blacks Harbour rural plan.
Okay, then we have a seconder for that.
I'll second.
Councilor Libby. Okay, now, at this point, since we have a motion on the floor, we go back to questions, comments, which we already done a few, but any other questions or comments for Alex while he's here? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Contrary? That's passed unanimously. Okay, Alex, you're staying around, are you? We got more, more things here. B is to give first reading of amending bylaw Z.2.1 as per the pre-circulated report entitled Z.2.1 Planning Report, which outlines the considerations for rezoning a portion of PID 1515-2374, which is the Willow Court, from commercial C zone to multi-unit residential R3 zone under the Village of Blacks Harbour Rural Plan to accommodate a 12-unit apartment development proposal. I guess as most people in Blacks Harbour refer to it as the 260 building. That's what everybody in Blacks Harbour calls that. So I look for a motion for first reading tonight.
Be it resolved that the first reading by title to bylaw number Z.2.1, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z.2, being the Village of Blacks Harbour rural plan.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilor Libby, seconded by Councilor Ritchie. Question or comment?
So essentially, you explained this already. We're changing it from a existing commercial zone to a new zone R3, right? Okay. Makes sense.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Contrary, and I declare that the first reading. C is give the first reading to PAC repeal bylaw 8.1.1 through the signing of a planning and development services contract with the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission. The Village of Blacks Harbour has agreed to work with the Planning Review and Adjustment Committee, the PRAC is what they call it. Once council repeals its Planning Advisory Committee bylaw 8.1, the village's effective Committee for Planning and Development Matters will automatically default to PRAC per the Regional Services Delivery Act. I look for a motion from the floor.
So be it resolved, the council give first reading by title to bylaw number A1.1, a bylaw to repeal the Planning Advisory Committee bylaw.
We have a motion on the floor by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Ritchie. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Contrary? And that's passed unanimously. Okay, I just remind council tonight, these are just first readings, so. Time-wise, Mr. Henderson, getting these things done, I know we got a couple more here to do yet. What's the timeline on finishing up these rezonings and stuff for, like, say, the 260 building? What are we looking at for timeline?
So the next step is to do a resolution tonight for setting a date for a public hearing for the rural plan bylaw and then the amendment to the rural plan bylaw. And also you can request the views of the PAC. So the PAC is still effective until the third reading of that repeal bylaw.
Okay.
So they're going to have a chance to review both, actually all three bylaws that you're considering tonight.
Good.
And they'll give you views. So you're asking them for views. So there's two things there: the public hearing of objections, and then the PAC meeting that you need to have. So you need to give at least a space of 21 days for that public hearing notice to go out. So if you set a date tonight, then you can set it 21 days from now. But it just might be sensible to go to your next regular council meeting and have the public hearing before that regular meeting, but it's up to council. You could set it as a special meeting at your choice.
Right.
So I think when we looked at that, we had a dates penciled in there.
We put at our next regular meeting,
Okay.
May 18th,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
to allow for time for us to meet with PAC and get their views.
right. So that would be advertised on your website and it'd be open to the public to attend. Write in their views on the two bylaws being considered at the public hearing. The PAC repeal bylaw doesn't need to go to public hearing. It just needs to be reviewed by the PAC before you pass it in third reading. So after the rural plan and the rural plan amendment get adopted at third reading, after your public hearing is done, then it needs to go to the provincial planning branch, and the minister of local government actually has to sign off on both those rural plans. So, yeah. So that we're thinking about June, the first week of June would be probably the earliest we're going to see those effective.
So we're talking about the 1st of June to have this completely rezoned, is it?
I would believe that would be when, everything is done and filed and official.
I'm just curious. And I imagine, the reason I'm asking that is because the public would like to know.
And
too.
contingent on objections and
Absolutely, exactly. No, because I know, like I say, housing is important, and I know there's a list of people waiting to move into these places once the work is done. So, yeah. So. Okay, that moves us on to D. Requests the written views of the PAC on the rural plan bylaw Z2, the amending bylaw Z21, and the PAC repeal bylaw A11. I'd look for a motion from the floor.
Be it resolved that council requests the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee on bylaw number Z.2, a bylaw to adopt the Village of Blacks Harbour rural plan.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councillor Ritchie, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on this motion? Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Henderson?
No, if I understood the motion correctly, you had the rural plan and the rural plan amendment and the PAC bylaw, or is it just
resolving each one separately.
Okay, yep, that works.
Yeah.
We're gonna read each one separately?
Yeah.
Good. We have a motion on the floor and a seconder. All question or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Alright.
Contrary, that's passed. Okay, we'll move on. Be it resolved. The next one.
Yeah, this is the next motion. So I can make that. So be it resolved that council requests the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee on bylaw number Z 2.1, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z2, being the Village of Blacks Harbour rural plan.
Councillor Thompson's made a motion, seconded by Councillor Ritchie. Question or comment on this motion? You can address any questions to Mr. Henderson while he's here. If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Next.
one more. I can move that. So be it resolved the council requests the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee on a bylaw A1.1, a bylaw to repeal the Village of Blacks Harbour rural plan.
Seconded by Councillor Ritchie. Question or comment? Mr. Henderson still here? None? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Alright.
That's passed unanimously. E, to set a date of the public hearing of objections for May 18th, 2022 for both rural plan bylaws Z2, the amending bylaw Z2.1. This will be our next regular council meeting, I believe.
Be it resolved that council sets May 18th, 2022 as the date for public hearing of objections on bylaw Z.2, a bylaw to adopt the Village of Blacks Harbour Rural Plan.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councillor Libby. We have seconded by
I'll second that.
Councillor Thompson. He leave me hanging. Okay, question or comment on this? What this is the next regular council meeting is the night for to hear public objections or public hearing to hear anything about that rezoning of 260, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna do that before the regular meeting to allow
Right.
for readings.
Gotcha. Any question?
Oh, sorry, that'll be posted on our website,
Yeah.
and there'll be letters mailed out as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Next, be it resolved, looking for,
That council sets May 18th, 2022 as the date for a public hearing of objections on bylaw Z.2.1, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z.2, being the Village of Blacks Harbour Rural Plan.
okay, Councillor Ritchie's made a motion, seconded by Councillor
I'll second.
Libby. Question or comment? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Okay, 13 is business arising from the minutes. 14 is unfinished business. 15 is new business motions and notice of motion. Okay, 15.1 is purchase of surplus property. I'm going to go to the CEO first to maybe talk about this first, and then I'll look for a motion.
I don't think we can because
We can't give details. We were notified by the province of a surplus property available
Right.
within the village limits, and tonight's motion is whether we decide to purchase that property or
Good.
not.
Good. That's what I needed to hear. Okay, what I look for is a motion from the floor. Council, I think council's all has more information.
Oh, yeah.
Be it resolved that council move forward in the process of purchasing surplus property as offered by the province of New Brunswick.
Councilor Libby's made a motion, seconded by Councilor Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
And it's passed unanimously. Okay, that brings us to 16, councilors' concerns. Just have a couple of things here tonight. First of all, happy birthday to Councilor Thompson this week. He's getting pretty old there. He's about 35.
Yeah, gray hair.
So,
He probably showed up in past month.
incorporated in 1972, the Village of Blacks Harbour is celebrating 50 years in 2022. As part of our 50th celebration, the Village of Blacks Harbour will be donating 50 pounds of food to Hillary's Hope for Hunger. The second annual Hillary's Hope for Hunger drive is on Saturday, April the 30th. Like last year, all proceeds will be donated directly to the local food bank, the St. George and Area Food Bank. Last year, food donations equaled to over 7,200 pounds and almost $26,000 in cash donations. We hope this year could be just as successful, but even helping one family makes a world of difference. So here in the village, we'll be collecting. We have the box right here. Maybe the camera can pick it up. We'll be collecting food here over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and this is the box. When people come into the village hall, this is the box. They can drop stuff off to.
Hopefully it'll be full, overfilled.
Exactly. If you would like to contribute to a cause dear to our hearts, we'll be on that date. They'll be seated at the food bank pantry on Main Street in St. George, accepting food and cash donations from 11 to 2 o'clock on April 30th. Okay. Tonight, I wish to send our sympathies out to the family of Vivian Irene Peters Camo, who passed away on Wednesday, March 16th. Survived by the son Phil of St. John, daughter Betty Doucette of St. John, son Stephen Camo of Blacks Harbour, son John Camo of Moncton, brothers Andy, Bob, Jerry, Wayne, and her only sister Betty Stewart from here in Blacks Harbour. On behalf of the Village Council, we wish to extend our sympathies to the family of the late Ronaldo Tavera. I'm going to get this wrong, it's a Filipino name, but Ella Maduela, who passed away March 26, 2022. Ronaldo is the father of Joy Ella Maduela, who is Gerald Bernard's partner here in Blacks Harbour. I'll go to our Deputy Mayor.
There's been a couple houses and a business that's got egged in Blacks Harbour in the last month. And anyway, I would just ask if anybody sees a vehicle driving around chucking eggs, that they would call the RCMP. It's not acceptable, and it's not fair to the homeowners or the business owners to have to clean that mess up. And thankfully, it's only been a mess, so it's never been damaged yet. So,
Councillor Libby.
Yeah, I would like to do a Chase the Ace update. And it will be the final Chase the Ace update as the ace was found week before last. And Nick Lawson won $733,000, I think just over that. So that's wonderful. It was a huge effort and a huge success for the community. And our group that was selling for the arena, raising money, managed to raise $88,840 total. And I just want to mention all of the sellers, because it was a lot of work every week, and each of these people contributed to that fund. So also Charlotte County Sports Group, Jeff and Sandra Cunningham, who put this together and organized it. It's a tremendous amount of work, and it's done so much for the community, so thanks to them. Thanks to Kara Hatt and the village office for selling tickets here, Boyd's Home Hardware, Mary Chevry, Lindsay Craig, Christy Blanchard, Shelley Hatt, Alexa Wilcox, Rose Wilcox, Councillor Ritchie, and Deputy Mayor Hatt. Everybody was involved in selling tickets. I hope I didn't miss anyone.
Councillor Libby.
Yeah. So, and also everyone who bought tickets, we had a lot of people who bought regularly every week, and just based on the fact that we were raising money for the arena. And it's really great to see everybody come together for that. So I know everybody's wondering what we're going to do with the funds, and I would love to just give you that information today, but we are still working on the plan. This is a lot of money, and we have opportunities maybe to leverage it for some funding and do bigger things than just with the 88,000. So just give us a little time to prepare and plan around that money, and then we'll get something out to you for sure. We